I'd like to start off by introducing myself. My name is Sarah Newman. I'm a data scientist at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory and part of the P&L management team for Jump Into STEM. I'll now turn it over to Carmen.
Hi, I'm Carmen Cejudo. I'm a mechanical research engineer at P&L and also working with Sarah and our other colleagues at RNL and NREL on the Jump Into STEM competition. So looking forward to sharing some information with you here.
All right,
And Bill?
Hi, I'm Bill Ekman, program manager over here at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and this is my second year on the Jump Into STEM management team. Happy to see you all here, and happy to get a chance to share with you all today.
Great, thank you so much. All right, so here's a brief agenda of what we'll be covering today. So first, I'll introduce you to the organizers for the Jump Into STEM program, give a brief overview of the Jump Into STEM program, review some important dates, announce the challenge topics. We'll then discuss instructions for the challenge submission, review the website and resources you can find there, and then finally discuss internship requirements before we'll turn the session over to a Q&A. So this is the full Jump Into STEM management team. So Jump Into STEM is funded by the Department of Energy Building Technologies Office, and we have 3 sponsors from BTO who are responsible for managing this program: Nicholas Ryan, Dr. Frederica Brown, and Sven Mume. Next, Oak Ridge National Laboratory is one of the managing labs, where we have Dr. Yeonjin Bae and Bill Ekman. NREL, National Renewable Energy Laboratory, also helps to manage the program, where we have Dr. Kim Trenbath and Dr. Ryan Meyer. And also Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, where both myself and Carmen Cejudo are part of the management team. So now an overview of the Jump Into STEM program. So first, I'd like to introduce a little bit of information on the Building Technologies Office, which is part of the Department of Energy. And the Department of Energy funds all of the national labs, including the 3 labs who manage Jump Into STEM: Oak Ridge, NREL, and P&L. So the Building Technologies Office develops, demonstrates, and accelerates the adoption of cost-effective technologies, techniques, tools, and services that enable high-performing, energy-efficient, and demand-flexible residential and commercial buildings. So they fund work all the way from the R&D stage to integration to codes and standards work. The vision for Jump Into STEM is to inspire the next generation of building scientists, focusing on creative ideation and diversity in the building science field. The program provides a gateway for undergraduate and graduate students to experience the research and career possibilities of studying building science after school. And we hope to attract students from both diverse majors and backgrounds. So the first stage of the competition is the challenge level. So challenges were already launched August 15th, and they run through November. Each team chooses to participate in one of 3 challenges that are posted on our website. There are several online resources to help teams explore solutions and craft submissions, and Bill will be going over those in more detail later on in the presentation. Winning teams are selected from each of the 3 challenges and awarded a token of recognition, as well as one-on-one mentorship with an industry expert. So challenge winners, as well as additional eligible teams, are then selected to compete at the final competition held this year at the National Renewable Energy Lab in Golden, Colorado. Finalists will be notified in December. And to be eligible to participate in the final event, students must complete the Zintellect internship application when they submit their challenge level submission. So as I mentioned, the final competition will be held in person this year at NREL, January 26th through 27th. Finalists will present ideas from their challenge submission to a panel of judges from industry, the Department of Energy, academia, and national labs. And then students from winning teams at the final competition will earn paid 2023 summer internships at one of the 3 national labs participating in this competition: NREL, Oak Ridge, or P&L. So here are some important dates. So on August 15th, we launched our new challenges on jumpintostem.org. On November 11th, the challenges close. No new submissions will be accepted after 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to get those in on time. On November 11th, the internship applications must also be submitted through Zintellect. I highly encourage you to apply for the internship, even if you're not sure what your summer plans are. You need to apply for the internship to be eligible to go to the final competition, and we can accept partial teams. So if you have a 4-person team and only 2 people submit the internship application, that's okay. Those 2 students can still go to the final competition if their challenge is one of the finalists. On December 5th, challenge winners will be announced, and select teams will be invited to attend the event at NREL in January for the final competition. On December 9th, finalists must indicate to event organizers whether or not they want to participate in the final competition, and then the final competition is held at NREL January 26th through 27th. So these are our 3 challenge topics for this year. It's electric, aims to increase electrification of US buildings. Sustainable and resilient, aims to develop novel technical solutions to improve the resilience and sustainability of the built environment, and identify ways for each proposed solution to enable underserved communities to adapt, persist, and recover from extreme weather and persistent stress. And finally, Curb Your Carbon is to develop an innovative solution that will reduce carbon emissions from US buildings through either embodied carbon, carbon sequestration and storage, and/or operational carbon emissions. So there's a lot more information on these 3 challenges on the website, both videos and then detailed descriptions, as well as examples of the types of solutions your teams could consider. And now I will pass it on to Carmen, who will discuss submission instructions.
Thank you, Sarah. Next slide. So as we mentioned, the competition is a team-based event. The teams are comprised of 2 to 4 students. It can be a mix of undergraduate or graduate. And also you're welcome to cross-reference other schools in your area or across the country if you're working on a project with somebody else and maybe a better fit than somebody that's in your university. Diversity of thought and background is a big component of what we're looking for here with this competition. So we're looking for majors in a wide variety of areas: engineering, architecture, policy, etc. We're obviously looking for individuals that are from underrepresented groups, traditionally underrepresented, and that could be including but not limited to race, ethnicity, and gender. The evaluation will be based on the diversity statement that is required as part of the submission process, and I'll go over a little bit more information as to what that diversity statement is. And also you should know that most of this information is going to be on the website, and Bill will cover some of the information you'll be submitting in your application in a minute. Next slide. As I mentioned, diversity statement is a key component of the application. It's a key objective to our competition. We are seeking a diversity of thought and backgrounds in the students that are entering the building science industry. So the diversity statement should and must include how your team will be contributing directly to diversity in the building science field. So make sure that you're keeping that top of mind in addition to what the challenges that you're going to be addressing with your application. Next. So here's a very broad breakdown of what the submission requirements are. So starting with your team background. So there's a 2-page maximum, which will include the basics: your project team name, collegiate institutions, etc. Your team's mission statement, a very short bio for each of the team members, again 2 to 4 team members or members per team, and that diversity statement. So the actual challenge submission is 5 pages max. So in that, we're looking for your background on the selected challenge and related stakeholders. So there's a problem statement, 1 to 2 paragraphs, identifying what stakeholders you're addressing with your solution. This technology solution, including one or more of the following components, whether it's an economic, a policy, commercialization, codes and standards, or other solution that you are proposing to move this challenge forward. Also, technology to market plan. This is an important aspect of the presentation that should include a cost benefit and market adoption barrier analysis. And I'll go into a little bit more depth into what those mean here in a minute. Next slide. So the criteria is broken up into different buckets. As you can see, the majority of the points are allocated to the solution. So the technical feasibility, novelty, and impact of your proposed solution to the challenge. Next is the market readiness. So this technology to market addressing what characterizations and overcoming adoption barriers for your solution. So that's a 30% of the points for the evaluation criteria. Discussion of your diversity and justice approach to your solution. So it's a statement, again, that diversity statement, and the project team background, how your project team individually contributes to that, and then generally looking at the broader environmental and energy justice, how your solution is addressing them for the community and the stakeholders that you're trying to meet. And then lastly, I just want to point out the submission requirements, 10% points. You must meet all of the requirements so that you can get those 10 points. And we'll go through the requirements in the next slide. So submission tips, read all the requirements. Bill will be introducing what those are here in a minute. So make sure to follow all the instructions and the evaluation criteria very carefully. All the submissions are included in your application using the supplied template, and links to impacts of your solution and how they benefit or contribute to environmental or energy justice. So thinking specifically about the communities that you could use as a pilot for your study, and perhaps also how your solution can be scalable to other communities outside of what you may be focusing on to get the details that you would include in your market transformation plan, or some of the more kind of nuanced aspects, but thinking about how that could scale to other communities. On the technology market plan, as I mentioned, here's some submission tips, making sure that you're including a comparison of currently available technologies. So for example, if I'm just going to give an example out there, talking about water heaters, what are the existing components that are out there? Electric, gas, and maybe your solution is to implement heat pump water heaters in new construction buildings. That would be the kind of market broad strokes information that we're looking for currently available technologies. Be quantitative in your cost benefit analysis, both for the solution and the alternatives, to say, maybe the heat pump water heaters cost more money, but on the energy side, they contribute to decarbonization. The energy efficiency savings maybe are much greater in areas with high electric rates, etc. Describe who's going to fund your proposed solution. Will it be a utility, or are you looking for grants from either state or government sponsors, or perhaps like FEMA with some resilience monies that are available currently, especially with new legislation that is being implemented? Describe how your solution will meet identified needs of the stakeholders. If you're looking for an underserved community, how will your solution to say, let's provide increased insulation in a building for them to be able to shelter in place? How will those solutions in that application help them shelter in place, and what benefits can they reap from that, like indoor air quality improvements, et cetera, lower utility bills, energy cost burden? And then identifying at least one barrier to implementation for your solution and how you'll be able to overcome it. Again, going back to the heat pump water heater example, perhaps the obstacle is that there aren't sufficiently trained installers in the area, so that the cost to implement the solution could be greater, but that's potentially a opportunity to build jobs and to have a greater impact, more than just the people that are benefiting from the solution, but also just generating a new market share of job opportunities. Next. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to our other speaker who will share with you how to navigate the website and to learn more about the different competition challenge topics. So with that, take it away, Bill.
Well, thank you, Carmen. And as noted, I'm Bill Ekman, a member of the Jump into STEM management team over here at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. And yeah, I'm going to focus on the competition website that's jumpintostem.org. And really, the Jump into STEM website is the central hub for information, documents, references, details. Pretty much, if there is something that you need to know about the Jump into STEM competition, then the website is the place to look. Next slide, please. Okay, so focusing in on student resources and what's available on the website, there's 6 key areas that I'd like to highlight. The first is schedule. So we saw those important dates earlier, and those will show up on the schedule on the website and also have other events related to the Jump into STEM competition. So if there's additional student sessions like this, then you would find those there. Other things you'll find on the website, the rules document. So this is linked on multiple pages, including the challenge topic pages. And I highly recommend that you review that document and ensure that your team and submission meet the requirements. Submissions that don't meet the rules document or teams that don't abide by the rules document will not be considered in the competition. Next is the challenge details. So each challenge topic gets its own page on the website and is also available as a downloadable document. So the individual challenge details help guide your discussions, your problem statement generation, and it also highlights submission considerations that you might want to take into account as you're putting together your solution. Another thing on the web page is challenge videos. So there's one for each one of the challenge topics, and it allows you to hear directly from the challenge authors. So it can really provide some nice insight there. Also on there, you'll find the challenge references. So these are unique to each challenge and are the ideal starting point for your research into the topic and potential problem statements, solutions, and so on. Likewise, these links and documents can really help create that important linkage to environmental or energy justice that Carmen mentioned. Finally, the submission template. So this is actually new for the 22-23 competition and sets your team on a path to structuring your submission appropriately. So really look at that submission template to really build out your solution and submission so that you have everything that you need in there and it's structured appropriately. Next slide, please. So as the repository for all things Jump into STEM, the website is also your submission portal. Each challenge has its own page, and each challenge page provides access to the submission form for that challenge. So as you can see on the page or in the image, it's simply navigate to the specific challenge topic, just using the challenge topic selection on the menu bar on any Jump into STEM page. Now, once there, click on the Go to the Form box or scroll to the bottom of the page. Once at the bottom, you will find the Show Submission form highlighted on the slide. And that will open the submission portal for that particular challenge. So some important notes about submitting. Prepare your submission document as a single PDF in accordance with the competition rules prior to starting your submission. Have your submission abstract ready. This is a short description of 250 words maximum about your submission. Be sure your submission document is named according to the requirements and readily available for upload on whatever computer you're using. Ensure all team members are present either in person or virtually when you submit your challenge solution. Please note that the form must be completed from start to finish. There are no saved drafts to return to later. So having your team available to be able to complete your submission from start to finish is important in making sure everyone is there. Next slide, please. Okay, once your submission is completed, you will receive a confirmation and an email sent to the personal email address provided on the submission form. Along with confirming your submission, the email provides an opportunity to participate in the Jump into STEM student questionnaire. Participation in the questionnaire is optional, and details about participating in research are included in the linked flyer and informed consent documents. Now, regardless of your experience in the Jump into STEM program, we ask that you consider participating in the Challenge Participant Questionnaire. All responses are kept confidential, will not be shared with judges, and do not impact submission scoring. The Jump into STEM management team reviews the anonymous questionnaire responses to help guide continued program improvement. In fact, the submission template included in this year's challenge resources comes from feedback from previous participants. So please share your experiences with us so that we can continue to improve the program and experience for everyone. Next slide, please. Now, to talk about the big prize associated with Jump into STEM, a paid internship at one of the participating national laboratories, ORNL, NREL, or PNNL. In order to be eligible, student teams must be selected based upon their challenge submission, apply for the internship, attend the final competition, and win the final competition that's to be hosted in January 2023 by the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Now, we're excited about the opportunity to invite top performing teams from the challenges to compete in the final competition. Now, key items related to intern eligibility and internship application process. First, let's talk eligibility. Students must be enrolled in an undergraduate or graduate degree seeking program at an accredited U.S. college or university at the time of application. Please note that the applicant must be located within the U.S. Students must have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher on a scale of 4 as of November 11th, 2022. They must be at least 18 years old, must have medical insurance effective through the entire term of the internship, must have at least one academic or professional recommendation, and must provide proof of relevant citizenship or immigration status. The available internship appointment is for summer 2023 only. Once awarded, the student is responsible for securing any necessary approval to work during summer 2023. Now, one question that often comes up, what if I'm unsure if I am eligible for the internship? Well, we say when in doubt, complete the application, and let's get you to that final competition, if your team is selected. Another question that comes up, what is the purpose of the application essay questions? Well, application essay questions are used to place winners in an appropriate internship and are not considered during the competition. Next, let's review the internship application process. Next slide, please. So internship applications are completed through Zintellect and are required by the close of the competition. That's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 11th, 2022. Links to the Zintellect site and internship application are available on the Jump into STEM website, and the application can be completed at any time before the close of the competition on November 11th. Unlike the challenge submission, which must be completed at one time by the whole team, the internship application is individual and can be completed separately. As always, there's additional helpful information available on the Jump into STEM website at jumpintostem.org. Next slide, please. And with this, I'm going to hand it back to Sarah to talk about a previous intern.
Thanks, Bill. So I hope you're all excited to participate in this year's Jump to STEM competition. Here are some highlights from last year's competition. So out of our challenge level winners, 14 opted to receive one-on-one mentoring from an industry expert. and 9 of the final competition winners were placed in a national laboratory internship over the past summer. One in particular, Ariana Sanchez, completed her internship at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. The goals of her project were to create a simulation platform comprised of a building envelope model compatible with multiple HVAC system models for simulation experiments with fast system dynamics. She successfully created an HVAC system model for a packaged terminal heat pump and validated the control system. Below, you can see a picture of Ariana from the final competition, as well as a diagram from her project. So thank you all for your attention. I'd like to now move over to the Q&A part of the session. So if you have a question, you can either put it in the chat, you can raise your hand, or you can unmute and just ask your question. I just want to also note that if you have additional questions after the session, please feel free to email us at jump@ornl.gov. Or check out our website at jumptostem.org, which has a lot of very useful information.